So in this video, you're going to learn 3 key tips to get next level results with our Easy Pro texture gun. First, air pressure, that's a common problem. 2, distance from the surface. And then finally, how much do you squeeze the bag and when do you squeeze? So let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how to set the air pressure. What we find is that folks, in reading the back of the bag, which has all of the steps that you need to make the gun work, they miss the part about you have to pull the trigger while you set the air pressure. I'll show you in a second. But basically, you pull the trigger and set the pressure to 60 psi. When you let go of the trigger, that pressure may go up to 70, 80. It's different with every compressor. But what would need to be the same is that when you pull the trigger, set it to 60 with the air flowing, perfect. So in a second here, I'm going to pull the trigger. But notice before I do that I'm at 90 psi on this compressor. What I want is I want to pull the trigger, set the gauge to 60. So let's see what happens as I pull the trigger. See here, I'm right at 60. So that was perfect, 60 with the air flowing. What happened is as soon as I let go, on this compressor it goes up to 90. So if you can imagine, if you set this to 60 against a closed trigger, it'd be way down here at 30 or 40, not enough air. So very simple, just remember to pull the trigger as you set the pressure, and that'll solve the problem with getting the pressure correct. Don't set it against a closed trigger. So number 2 of our 3 techniques is distance from the surface. Everybody wants to crowd and move in on it, and that's just natural. But you got to force yourself to step back when you're shooting orange peel about 3 feet, and when you're shooting knockdown, probably about half that, 18 inches to 2 feet. So let's take a look at why. So you saw us just set the pressure at 60 psi. This bag is all mixed up with the Easy Pro mixer, and now I'm just going to shoot at about 3 feet. Why that's critical, 3 feet, is that notice how this texture is spread out. If I come in and I crowd the surface, see how it loads up really fast? We want to step back so that as we look at the wall around the area where we're spraying, we want to be able to match it. And you can be back here and just add a little more material. Even as heavy as that. I can match whatever, but you want it to happen slowly. By stepping back, it gives the pattern more time to spread out, and it gives you more time to work and to match what's on the wall. So the final of our 3 things that will change your results is how much do you squeeze the bag and when do you squeeze? It's pretty much a new user's problem, but I'm going to go over it anyways. A new user has a tendency to want to squeeze the bag and preload the tip with material. And as you can imagine, all that's going to do is have a bunch of material as soon as you start to spray. So I'm going to do that. And you see what happens is you have this big burst of material out of the gate. Don't do that. Our motto is air first, then squeeze. And how much do you squeeze is the question. Start light. Just like the distance, we start out distant so our pattern is spread out. We're going to start out here squeezing lightly so that we put in a light texture and then add to it to match. So here I'm going to start light and then just add a little more pressure. And it's as simple as that. Click here, guys, for other videos on other products that we have and other instructional videos. Just click right over here. No, seriously, click here. Anytime, click here.